Questions?
Number 2 overall seed, Lexi, what are your thoughts when you saw Nebraska pop up in that spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. We've obviously had a pretty good year, 2 losses, which is in our conference and in the sport of volleyball right now is pretty incredible. And I think, yeah, we're just excited to get going, start the 3rd season of what Coach says, and yeah, just get started. But yeah, it's pretty cool to be number 2 overall.
What was it like celebrating last night, the big win in the Big Ten, winning the sheriff? What was that like for this team to get to experience that and go through that before you start this 3rd season?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Obviously, Coach talks about it all the time, how it's harder to win a Big Ten championship than to win a national championship just because you have to be so good for 10 weeks. And, 9 teams in the Big Ten made it into the tournament, so it's just a testament to how strong and how hard this conference is. And so I think for us, like you said, it's a big confidence booster going in, just knowing that we've played a lot of really tough teams all year long and we've had to figure out ways to win or ways to learn if we didn't pull it out. And so I think for us it's just a big confidence boost going in, and obviously it's always fun to win a championship. So it was fun for us to celebrate and just be together and enjoy all the little moments that we have together.
19 years, 31 matches were against tournament teams this year. How do you feel like the schedule you guys played this season has prepared you for the tournament now?
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy season. Our preseason was, I felt like the toughest I've ever been a part of, and I feel like it was one of the toughest that Nebraska's had in a while. And to get some of those early wins against top 10 opponents, I feel like really prepared us for a long Big Ten season. And then, yeah, I feel like the Big Ten with the travel schedule and with everything is pretty difficult, but I think we handled it really well and we performed week after week. And yeah, I'm just really proud of our team for how great we did all year. So yeah.
Lexi, what do you feel like you accomplished winning the Big Ten this season?
I think just with the new additions, the new 4 teams, it was the hardest it's ever been. And I think to get that championship just shows how great of a team we are. You really have to be on your A game every single weekend. And as you guys can see, it comes down to the last weekend, the last game. And so it just kind of is a testament to how much work you have to put in day after day for such a long period of time. And I think it just shows how consistent we were all year and how we were able to maintain kind of that level of play throughout the entire Big Ten season.
Mary, you like to say you take something from every single match. What did you take from Penn State that you can use going forward?
Yeah, we watched film back and looked at stats the next day, and on paper we should have won that match other than kills. And so, we outdug them, outblocked them, all of those categories. Like, we should have won on paper. And, that's sports. Sometimes, it doesn't fall your way, and there were a lot of swings where we were going high, hard, and didn't get a touch or it didn't land in, and that's the reality of sports sometimes. But I think what we took away from that game was we didn't roll over and die, which is ultimately what we did earlier in the year against SMU, is we got swept, we rolled over, we died, we didn't know what to do. And I think Lexi and I were talking about it the next morning, we fought back in the second set and we fought till the very last point, even when it wasn't going our way. And I think that for us, obviously we wish we would have won that game, like every single one of us does, but taking that away and just knowing that we're still going to go for it even when we're down or even when it's not going our way, and we're just when is it going to land our way, and we didn't roll over and die. And I think for us that's huge confidence. Obviously there's things that we can work on and offensively things we can get better at and be smarter with, but I think that was the biggest thing that Lexi and I took away, was just that step in the right direction from being swept and rolling over and dying and then continuing to fight.
Lexi, how does the vibe change now that it's tournament time? Or does it not, because you guys have been grinding for the Big Ten title over the last 10 weeks?
I think there's always a little bit of a change. Obviously, you have preseason where it's you're kind of getting used to things, getting used to playing again, lineups, all that stuff. And then Big Ten is just a dogfight for a couple months long. And then now it's the finish line. It's the race to the end. And I think it's kind of that switch of okay, everything we've done, we just have to find a way to do it for 3 more weeks and find a way to consistently be good over the last games that we have left. So I think a little bit of a mind switch, but I think overall just trying to stay in routine, stay with the same mindset of like, okay, we've been doing this, we have the confidence, and we can get the job done.
Is there anything you guys lean on from the way things went last postseason that you guys are already talking about now or have been talking about?
I think early on in the year, there was definitely a little bit of like chatter and talk about it, but I think we kind of nipped it in the bud, honestly, and just we were like, it's a new year, we're a new team. Like, it can be fuel for the fire, but also like we have to be present. And so I think going into the tournament, it'll probably come up a little bit. Big Tens, we kind of were like, it doesn't matter what happened last year. Like, this is a new year, and we kind of put that to the side. But I definitely think that's something that'll probably start coming up here coming into the tournament. Just everyone remembers that, and we don't want that to happen again. So I'm sure it'll be used as fuel and motivation going into this tournament. But I mean, like Lexi said, we just try to stay in routine and try to just do what we do every single day and not overcomplicate it. And I think that's what makes this group so special is like, we're playing volleyball like we do for hours on end. So I'm sure it'll be used as motivation, but it's also just about remaining in who we are and playing Nebraska volleyball and simplifying it in the big moments as much as we can.
And then I think I heard you guys react when you were called on the show. Finally, if you guys were in the building, what did that feel like, seeing that, the reveal?
Oh, seeing us get revealed. I mean, super cool. I think just being the number 2 seed overall is a celebration for us and just another testament to how much work we put in since the beginning of the season. And so, yeah, super exciting. And to get to celebrate here and be a top 4 seed means we get to play at home. So that's always super exciting. I think we're really happy about that. So I think that's the biggest excitement.
Merritt, John mentioned before on Saturday morning, you and him sat down and talked. I mean, how important was that for you to have that match that you did against Maryland to kind of be Merritt Beason and have a match like that going into the postseason?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, I talked to Lexi that morning. I talked to Bergen that morning. Like, lots of conversations were had. And I don't know, I think for me, it was, I told Coach, like, I just need to be Merritt, and I need one game to feel like Merritt again. And I think that's ultimately what Maryland was for me, is just a good reminder. Like, you know, it's hard when you're at this level and you're at such a high program and you're playing in such a top conference. You can kind of get in ruts sometimes, and I was like, I just need to feel it for once and I'll be good. And I think Maryland obviously was a great game for me, but and a great game for our team, and it was a cool moment being able to end on that. But yeah, it just went back to focusing on being Merritt, and that's I wouldn't have done that without Lexi and Bergen and Coach, and probably those conversations helped me a lot and just kind of allowed me to go into the game with a lot of peace. But yeah, just gotta be Merritt.
Other questions? Merritt, what are your overall thoughts on the field in general, and especially your path to potentially getting to the Final Four?
Yeah, I think we're really excited. I mean, volleyball everywhere in the United States is growing, and so like the field is so level now, and there's a ton of great teams who can make great runs and upset people, and volleyball is just more spread out to where a few years ago it was like, okay, well, here's your top 4 teams, and we know that. So it's really exciting, but it's also more pressure and more, you got to bring your A game each and every night of each round of the tournament now. And so I think for us, it'll just be continuing to focus on who's ahead of us and not looking too far forwards, just because every team in this tournament is going to be really good.
Do you know anything about Florida? Florida name's kind of your area.
Yeah, I played them twice. Like, this will be my 3rd time in the tournament playing them, either my 1st or 2nd round. So I'm very familiar with that team, played them a lot. But yeah, it'll be kind of weird just because it's like a little memory of my first 2 NCAA tournaments. So,
Lexi, did it feel different winning the Big Ten this year than last year in many ways?
I wouldn't say different. I mean, obviously every single year is different, but I think this one was just more enjoyable, more exciting, more just because it's like there's no other way that I would want to end like my senior year of like conference than with the Big Ten title. So I think it was a little more special, just because, I mean, Big Ten championships are hard to do. I didn't get one until last year, and so to have 2 leaving is just such a huge accomplishment for our whole entire team and for this program. And so, yeah, I mean, every year is different, but this one was definitely super special.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
guys.